The latest. Thank you for your love and support. I appreciate you all. Amazing. It is amazing. Trump is shaking the world. Ever since this man came into office, from his first day in the Oval Office, from executive order to whatever, and now to capturing or kidnapping, and then everything is just becoming something else. Now, EU is saying enough is enough. They will no longer submit to the United States of America. According to the EU Commission President, Ursula von der Leyen, this time round they have had enough. And they will not allow anybody to threaten them. And she's also calling for the EU to be self-dependent. That when it comes to their economy, their security, in every aspect, they have to make sure that they strengthen themselves and not to be looking outside to the outside world for help, because we know EU depends so much on the United States of America. And ever since these two people came in contact, it's like the United States of America has been the backbone of European Union. And that is why they can go to any length to do whatever. But now they are feeling the heat and they are asking themselves what they haven't done and what they are supposed to do. And now they are saying, it's like they have allowed themselves to be treated anyhow, to be submissive. And that is why Trump has decided to move all the way into Europe to demand Greenland.
President Brenda, dear Volker, thank you very much for the warm welcome. Your Majesties, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, indeed, it is now 56 years since the first meeting here in Davos. And the idea of the founder, Klaus Schwab, was to create a platform to discuss the issues and the ideas of the day. Of course, the world has transformed completely since 1971. But the original idea of Davos has remained, as we just have heard in the speeches. So I was delighted that you have gone back to your roots with this year's theme, a spirit of dialogue. Because this spirit is all the more important in a world that is more fractured and more fractious than ever. 1971 was the year of the so-called Nixon shock and the decision to delink the US dollar from gold. In an instant, the foundations of the Bretton Woods system and the entire global economic order set up after the war effectively collapsed. But it also had two major effects. It inadvertently created the conditions for what would become a truly global order, and it provided a sharp lesson for Europe and on the need to strengthen its economic and political power. It was a warning to reduce our dependencies, in this case, on a foreign currency. The world may be very different today, without any question, but I believe the lesson is very much the same. That geopolitical shocks can and must serve as an opportunity for Europe. And in my view, the seismic change we are going through today is an opportunity, in fact, a necessity, to build a new form of European independence. And this need is neither new nor a reaction to recent events. It has been a structural imperative for far longer. So when I used this term, European independence, around a year ago, I was surprised at the skeptical reactions. But less than 1 year on, there's now a real consensus around this. The sheer speed and almost unthinkable scale of the change have driven this, but the underlying imperative is still the same. The good news is we acted immediately, whether on energy or raw materials, defense or digital, we're moving fast. But the truth is also that we will only be able to capitalize on this opportunity if we recognize that this change is permanent. Of course, nostalgia is part of our human story, but nostalgia will not bring back the old order. And playing for time and hoping for things to revert soon will not fix the structural dependencies we have. So my point is, if this change is permanent, then Europe must change permanently too. It is time to seize this opportunity and build a new independent Europe. And ladies and gentlemen, this new Europe is already emerging. On Saturday, I was in Asunción, in Paraguay, to sign the EU-Mercosur trade agreement. It was a breakthrough after 25 years of negotiations. And with it, the European Union and Latin America have created the largest free trade zone in the world, a market worth over 20% of global GDP, 31 countries with over 700 million consumers aligned with the Paris Agreement. So this agreement sends a powerful message to the world that we are choosing fair trade over tariffs, partnership over isolation, sustainability over exploitation, and that we are serious about de-risking our economies and diversifying our supply chains. And that will not stop in Latin America. Last year, we reached new agreements with Mexico, Indonesia and Switzerland, our host country. We're working on a new free trade agreement with Australia. We are also advancing with the Philippines, Thailand, Malaysia, the United Arab Emirates, and more. And right after Davos, the next weekend, I will travel to India. There's still work to do, but we are on the cusp of a historic trade agreement. Indeed, some call it the mother of all deals. One that would create a market of 2 billion people, accounting for almost a quarter of global GDP. And crucially, that would provide a first-mover advantage for Europe with one of the world's fastest growing and most dynamic continents. Europe wants to do business with the growth centers of today and the economic powerhouses of this century, from Latin America to the Indo-Pacific and far beyond. Europe will always choose the world, and the world is ready to choose Europe. And ladies and gentlemen, this reality also reflects the fact that Europe has all the assets it needs to attract investment. The savings, the skills, the innovation with our AI factories and gigafactories and the applications that are necessary, AI first. What we need now is to mobilize collectively these assets to their full potential and to focus on the essential. So focal point number one is to create a conducive and predictable regulatory environment. We live in an age where capital and data can cross Europe in a second, and business must be able to move just as freely. But as things stand, too many companies have to look abroad to grow and scale up, partly because they face the new set of rules every time they expand into a new member state. So while on paper the market is of 450 million Europeans open to them, it is far more complicated in reality. And that acts as a handbrake on the growth and profit potential of companies. So this is why we need a new approach. We will soon put forward our 28th regime. The ultimate aim is to create a new, truly European company structure. We call it EU Inc., with a single and simple set of rules that will apply seamlessly over our union, so that businesses can operate across member states much more easily. Our entrepreneurs, the innovative companies, will be able to register a company in any member state within 48 hours, fully online. They will enjoy the same capital regime all across the European Union. And ultimately, we need a system where the companies can do business and raise financing seamlessly across Europe, just as easily as in uniform markets like the United States or China. If we get this right, and if we move fast enough, this will not only help EU companies grow, but it will attract investment from across the world. Which brings me to the second focus, investment and capital. We are now building the Savings and Investment Union. We need a large-scale, deep and liquid capital market that attracts a wide range of investors. And this will allow business to find the funding they need, including equity, at lower costs here in Europe. We have made proposals on market integration and supervision to ensure our financial market is more integrated. This covers trading, post-trading and asset management, as well as driving innovation and making our supervisory framework more efficient.
They have also seen their weakness, and that is they are not sovereign. They are not independent, and they need to have that. And this goes to Africa. I hope we are watching and we are seeing what is happening all around us. We are just like Europe. Europe has a backing, which is the United States of America, that helps EU to do whatever. But Africa has never had that. We have always been the prey to these people. These people, nobody thought a day like this will come between them. But the fire is everywhere. And now they've seen that they need to fight united for their sovereignty, for their power, for their independency. And this is where we are lacking as Africans. African leaders are always there looking out to the world to come and do anything for us. With our resources that we have, these people can give us peanuts. We give everything away for free. Because they promise us that they'll bring us their military bases, as if Africa is a war zone. We don't believe in ourselves. So why do we have these military camps and whatever in Africa? If we know these our military men are not capable enough to protect us, we need to fight for our independency. The African needs to be independent. We have to make sure we fight for our sovereignty, whether in economics, whether in trade, in security, whatever that has to do with the African. Like the woman is asking the European Union to do. We all need to do that. This is the time we need to even put everything of ours together under one umbrella. We need to stop looking for I want to be president. We should all now live under the umbrella of one leadership. AES, they are doing that. And the presidency keeps rotating. It was Mali, now it's in Burkina, the next time it will be in Niger. Why can't Africans do that? The world is at war. Like she said, ever since this person came, we are seeing what is happening in Middle East. We are seeing, like, everywhere is on fire. And everybody is preparing. EU was sleeping like Africa because they believe that when it comes to them, and the United States of America would never go to any length to touch them. And that was why when they kidnapped Nicolas Maduro, we saw the kind of statement they gave out. They didn't know that they are the next people. And now that they are touched, we have seen how EU is coming out, changing its approach, the way they can describe Donald Trump. I didn't know they have all the good and qualified adjectives to describe Donald Trump until now. So if you are not touched by Trump, you think he is the best person until you are touched. And that is why world leaders are all asking that we fight against this. Because what is happening is not good. And she said they have to have their own democracy. Africans, we need to have our own everything. We must not be interested in taking everything from... We are not Westerners. We are not Europeans, neither are we Americans. Why must we always be looking at what these people are doing and we believe that what they are doing is rather the best thing and not what the African is doing? Chinese are not learning from them. The Indians are not, the Koreans are not, Japanese, the Russians. It's only the African that has thrown everything away, and all that we think about is everything Europe is beautiful. We don't even have anything of ours anymore. We are lost completely in this world. And this is a message to us all. To stand up. Have our own everything. Reshape everything. Let's put our differences aside. All these things were created for us by the same oppressor. And for how long must we allow these people to continue to rule us outside of Africa? Slavery hasn't ended. It is in a modern way. And that is why we are finding it so difficult to rise up. Like one of the brothers in the diaspora said, Africans are not angry enough because we don't know that we are still under slavery. If we do, or if we can still see the physical chains on ourselves, we would have reason to fight. But because we don't see it, the African thinks that I am free, I can move around, but we are still 100% under slavery. And until we understand that, we can never rise to fight. Now EU is changing everything, changing the game. You, the African leaders, must also sit down and do something for us. Let's start doing things of the African and stop adapting and taking everything from the same people who came and oppressed us. We are the only ones that can set ourselves free. United we stand, divided we fall, and united we keep standing forever and ever. The greatest enemy of the African is mental slavery. So let's decolonize ourselves from mental slavery. Let's keep sharing to educate our brothers and sisters. Together we make Africa great for ourselves and the next generations that are going to come. So that's the latest around the world. In EU.